time it is, man. It's your boy Easy Work Boxing about to hit you everywhere but under your feet with this one. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Most of all, like and subscribe. You understand me? Please like and subscribe. Keyshawn Davis is back. He back. I kind of, ride with what the people are saying. Maybe Keyshawn Davis was really on suspension, because he just too happy to come off retirement. Don't that just seem too crazy? He excited. He already in shape. Y'all think that's just a coincidence on it? Oh, I stay in shape. Yeah, that's what you're going to tell the public, Keyshawn Davis. Not going at him. Shout out to Keyshawn Davis. I just keep it trill over here. I just keep it trill over here. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you just back in shape. You're ready to go into the ring. A fight just come up out of nowhere. With Jermaine Ortiz, if y'all watch Mill City Boxing, he was kind of saying that he got a fight coming up. I didn't know it was going to be Keyshawn Davis, but this is a good matchup. And respect to Keyshawn Davis as well, because Keyshawn, this is a name. This is a name. This is somebody who has credibility in the sport of boxing, who you go out there and you beat Jermaine Ortiz. Yeah, okay, Keyshawn, okay, he's some serious. I'm not one of them dudes that just ride off the 11 fights and 17, 16 fights. I know them guys is out there for y'all to beat. But if you stepping up to the table and you facing Jermaine Ortiz, I respect that. And this is a value fight. I'm looking forward to this. This they got a lot of people on this card too. This gonna be a good fight. But you coming out there and acting like you the beast, and you know what I'm saying, and all that. You knew you was finna fight him. That's why you just kept saying something about January the 31st. Y'all remember that when he was being interviewed about the Richardson Hitchens situation? He kept saying something about, I might return on the 31st. He already knew. That's why he in shape like that. No hating on him. Shout out to you, Keyshawn. You know what I'm saying? We keep it real over here. I just want people to understand. I love these fighters. I respect them. I just give my opinion. It's a value fight right here. This gonna get his name stamped a little bit. Even though he won the belt at 135, but fighting, Jermaine Ortiz, a name like that, you got to give him his respect, man. So, like I said, we gonna look at that. I'm looking up his highlights right now, Jermaine Ortiz highlights. Just to give me a little view of, what the fight gonna look like and see what, how Jermaine Ortiz bring it in the ring. Keyshawn, orthodox fighter. Jermaine Ortiz, southpaw. So it's gonna be a different style of fight. But I think Keyshawn gonna come out on top of this. I think that Jermaine Ortiz is still real amateurish. I think he fights like he's still an amateur. So we're just gonna see. It depends on what has Jermaine Ortiz changed in his game. What has Jermaine Ortiz changed in his game? What will he come out and with his experience? Fighting Teofimo Lopez. If I'm mistaken, he fought Lomachenko too as well. If I'm mistaken, so he got some experience. So this is a good fight to see if Keyshawn really the real deal in the sport of boxing. So I like it, but I just had to talk about the fact of don't come out there acting like you was just already in shape, Keyshawn. You slipped and said it when you was in the interview, talking to people during what was the Teofimo press conference. So you was already talking to people about the fact of the fight coming, and he announced it. Now he want to run around and Keyshawn. This is why I don't like Keyshawn is fake as hell. Let me tell y'all that Keyshawn is an animated dude. You know what I'm saying? He's very animated. That's why I didn't like it, because Keyshawn, that you was sitting up there and you was waiting on that fight to be announced. Stop acting like you was just around there and you was in the gym and you just, I'm always in shape. I respect it if you are, but I know you was waiting on this fight, but this a hell of a fight. Oh, and Jermaine Ortiz can also fight orthodox as well. So there's something else we got to talk about in this fight. He can fight southpaw and orthodox. He's a switch hitter. And, he had a good, from what I understand about Jermaine Ortiz, he had a good amateur career. I don't know if he's no Olympian or nothing like that, but, I know he done been in a lot of amateur fights. And this is a credible opponent, man. This is a credible opponent. But I got Keyshawn. So far until I go into really, watching and, trying to predict the fight. Then I'll come out and give y'all a prediction and tell y'all, who I think gonna win. But I got Keyshawn so far. And the only reason I got Keyshawn is for the fact that, like I said, I think Jermaine Ortiz he ain't had that one person to come over there and help him, show him what the professional's about. He ain't got that person coming over there showing him what the professional's about. He fighting off what he done learned himself in the pros. That's what I think. But I think if he get a good trainer, it's fast, he can switch stances, defensive at times. It really looked like he just tired himself out a lot. That's what it looked like Jermaine Ortiz do. You know what I'm saying? He tired himself out a lot. I ain't sleeping on Jermaine Ortiz. I respect the hell out of Jermaine Ortiz. I respect Keyshawn for fighting Jermaine Ortiz. I thought he was gonna pick a little, for one, I didn't think Keyshawn Davis was gonna fight on the 31st. And I thought if he was gonna fight, that it was gonna be, the other, not to say it like that, because when you say it like that, it make it seem like they lesser opponents, but Mexican, Latino opponents, who ain't up on their level. I keep telling y'all, them first 0 to 16 fights from the superstar boxers we know, most of those fights are guys that's coming in to lose. Those are not real official bouts. Like a dude who coming in there to, no, they go in the gym, they say, I'm looking for a guy, who can fight this, look good, nice little, yeah. And see, that's why you don't never hear from none of them guys again. You don't never hear from none of them guys that's in the 0 to 15 wins of a ranked boxer. You don't never hear from them again because they was there for them to just come up off of. So, you'll look at Abdullah Mason, Vargas, the Vargas sons, and many more people, and y'all be like, oh, no, they not. And something that's worrying me? I be thinking about these twins that's coming up in the sport of boxing. I'm sure y'all done seen them before. They call it the Grady twins. Have y'all seen the Grady twins before? The Grady twins, people are looking for them to be the next, like, they could possibly be the next Charlos and stuff like that, but as long as we've been watching them since they was, little babies and fight and, doing their thing, we would think in our head that, oh, the Grady twins going to be the future of boxing. They're going to take over the sport of boxing. But this is my one question about the Grady twins, because I mostly seen them training themselves. Who's training them? Who's training the Grady twins? Like, who's their official trainer? He done boxed before. He done been a Golden Gloves champion, Olympian. You know what I'm saying? Because if they sit there, they look like they training themselves, and a lot of people look at it and think, oh, they've been boxing since they was kids, so we gonna think they're gonna be some monsters. But if they training themselves, I don't think they're gonna be monsters like that. You know what I'm saying? First let me say, I'm not downplaying what these young men are doing. I salute them for loving the sport of boxing. They ain't in the streets. They ain't out there, raising chaos, havoc. They boxing. But what I'm saying is, when we see the Grady twins, we look like and think like, damn, these dudes gonna be some badasses in the sport of boxing. But yet I don't see no trainer behind them. I don't hear about no trainer of, oh, I done boxed before, I was a professional, I don't see this, which that matters, but that don't mean they're gonna be undefeated because they had somebody who, you know what I'm saying? But I just want to know, you know what I'm saying, because it could be up in years, you know, they might run across somebody who had that real trainer and get whooped. Then everybody be sitting around like, oh, the Grady twins ain't good as we thought. You know what I'm saying? But it looked like they trained themselves. But, you know, I just was wondering about that when I saw them, you know. I just was wondering about that. I like they look good, but, you know. But, you know, I got Keyshawn being victorious over, you know, what's his name, Jermaine Ortiz. But it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a hell of a tough fight for Jermaine Ortiz. Especially Jermaine Ortiz, because he's the one who really got something to prove. And beating a fighter like Keyshawn Davis, it brings him back to the forefront. You know, he in the major lineup of the, you know, 135, 140 division. Well, I think 140 division. I think that's what Keyshawn going. So it brings him back in the spotlight a lot if Jermaine Ortiz can pull this off. You know, this is this, you can say this is a 50-50 fight. This 50-50 fight. So January 31st is going down. It's going down January 31st. Like I said, I got Keyshawn winning. I won't say by stoppage. I won't say by stoppage though. I'll probably say by 12-round decision. Keyshawn may win on the cards. But he got a difficult task in front of him. I hope he's ready for it. And we got to think about the fact of, you know, he ain't got the same team no more. You know, Bo Mac them ain't over there. So will we see, you know, a different Keyshawn Davis? Will he not be the same? Will he lack something? You know, a fighter going against, in a fight like this, going against Jermaine Ortiz, I would think he would need Bo Mac now. You know, a lot of people don't give Bo Mac his credit and Bo Mac team his credit. Oh, that's just Terrence Crawford. But you got to understand, 3 heads are better than 1. When you got 3 different trainers looking at an opponent that you finna fight and coming up with a game plan, you know, you can't lose with that. You can't lose with that. So going against Jermaine Ortiz, I really think he need that. He need Bo Magnum, but we're going to see. You know, sometimes you can do stuff that you aren't supposed to do and get out of line in situations that you aren't supposed to get out of line of. And I think he done messed up in this situation by not having them in his corner. Especially, you know, bragging about it. Oh, I let everybody in my team go. I let everybody on my, I let everybody go. Okay, you let everybody go. Okay. But we're going to see how this is going to affect you on fight night, especially going against a fighter with the experience of Jermaine Ortiz. We're going to see how that's going to affect you then. Because Jermaine Ortiz ain't coming to lose. I hope he don't come with what he did with Teofimo Lopez. I hope he done learn that, you know, all that pretty boxing and looking cute, you got to come out there and throw punches, bro. You have to come out there and throw punches. Ain't nobody winning off, you know, saying, oh, he threw a pretty jab, he threw a pretty left hook. It was timed perfectly at that time. That one time, no, you got to be consistent. You got to knock some jaw. You got to knock a head back a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? You got to make us sit up there and see this. So, you know, we got some stuff to see, you know, coming up in the future of boxing. You know, I don't know what weight division this fight gonna be at. It better not be at 135. I know that. It better not be at 135, especially for a fighter like Keyshawn Davis that said he came in 4 pounds overweight on De Los Santos. This is gonna make you look very bad, my brother. If you come in there at 135 for this fight. That's gonna make you look very bad. Yeah, but Keyshawn, yeah, but Keyshawn running from 140. Keyshawn running from 135 because Andy Cruz there. That's why Keyshawn really running from 135. Andy Cruz. See, let me tell y'all something. Keyshawn don't think he know better than Shakur. Because look at it like this. Think about this. What did Shakur do against De Los Santos? Moved around the ring a lot. Some say he ran, he skipped, and he danced away from De Los Santos because De Los Santos had power. So what do the friend do? What did Keyshawn Davis do? Keyshawn Davis had to be intimidated by De Los Santos because you seen your friend hop, skip, and jump and win a fight. So you like, if if Shakur hop, skipped, and jump against De Los Santos, I know he a real force to be reckoned with. So let me keep 4 pounds on my body when I try to go fight De Los Santos. And you messed up your career because you was scared of De Los Santos. He was scared of De Los Santos. He wanted to put on them 4 pounds to pad his face from getting knocked out. That's why he did that. Keyshawn can still make 135. Y'all don't believe that. Don't believe that. Keyshawn Davis can still make 135 if he wanted to. De Los Santos ain't fought nobody recently because he had a blood clot in his leg. That's why De Los Santos, when he fought Shakur, he was coming off having surgeries for a blood clot. See, no, not Shakur. It was Keyshawn. When he fought Keyshawn, he was coming off surgery for having blood clots. That's why they thought he was going to take that fight if they came in 4 pounds bigger. See, Keyshawn was sitting there looking like, oh, I'm going to come in 4 pounds bigger because I know he need the money. This is what his team telling him. Oh, he need the money. He been out having surgeries. So you can come in bigger. They going to take the fight. And he had a smart team who cared about him. And they said, no, we're not taking that fight. He came in 4 pounds extra. We're not giving him an advantage. That's what Keyshawn Davis was pissed off about. He thought that team was going to take that fight. And they was like, hell no, we're not taking it because you did that on purpose. So Keyshawn Davis heated, and he still got Bo McNum on his back. And Bo McNum like, we still want our 10% because Bo Mac was mad he missed weight. Bo Mac was very upset with Keyshawn that he missed weight. And Bo McNum said, we still want our money. And Keyshawn was mad that night. His brother got beat that night. The R, what they call themselves? The DGB 3, DG3, or whatever they call themselves. They embarrassed themselves that night because one of them lost, and they was all angry, acting like females, and they went in the back and jumped that boy. And they jumped that boy, and I believe Keyshawn Davis was suspended. They was going to let him know what their decision was. I ain't going to say he was suspended because they would have announced that he was suspended. But I think they probably had a hearing or a discussion on whether or not they was going to allow Keyshawn Davis to fight. And they allowed him to fight this upcoming January the 31st. And he already knew it, that it was a possibility. Or I might be coming back January 31st. I don't know. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Stop playing, man. Stop playing, man. Stop playing, man. Stop playing. But see, I also remember I thought they said that it was gonna be Hitchens versus Jermaine Ortiz. Now, I don't know why Jermaine Ortiz will be fighting, Keyshawn Davis instead of Hitchens. Maybe they were like, hey, if you beat this guy, then you'll get a shot at Hitchens. But I would have took the fight with Hitchens before I took the fight with Keyshawn Davis. But you know, you never know with Hitchens. I think Hitchens be bullshitting. I think Hitchens be running from a lot of opponents. He need to handle his situations at 140 instead of chasing Devin Haney. You got Gary Antoine Russell. You got Serbia Matias. I don't know who the other belt hold is in that division, but Richardson Hitchens come across like, you know what I'm saying? He very duckish to me. He damn near like Tank today. He calling out people he shouldn't be calling out. Set your feet in stone in your division first. See, you got to respect the guy that move up and weight and fight the top guy. See, Teofimo Lopez is the top guy at 140 pounds, right? So you got to respect Shakur for doing that. Just like you got to respect Devin Haney for coming up and fighting Brian Norman Jr., the number one at 147. You have to respect that. But at the same time, you got to solidify yourself in your division. You know what I'm saying? Like Shakur solidified himself at 135, by fighting Zepeda, and De Los Santos, whether you want to give him that fight or not, they solidified, but you have to solidify yourself in your division at some point to do something. Tank ain't did that. Tank ain't solidified 135 at all. Any channel that tell you Tank Davis has solidified 135 don't know what the hell they talking about. He ain't. He done fought lower weight champions. He had people come up. When he do fight somebody at 135, they inexperienced. His IQ was higher than theirs. They tricked you with the Frank Martin fight. A lot of y'all was like, Frank Martin don't have the IQ. Frank Martin started boxing late. Which don't change nothing. One punch can change the whole fight. But at the end of the day, when I got more IQ than you and I know more than you, I've been in the game longer than you, it's going to be a different fight than what people expect. And a lot of people expect Frank Martin to do differently because, Frank Martin beat some, Michelle Rivera, he was up and coming, strong fighter. He looked at 135. So we thought he had a possibility, but if you watch the fight, you could see how he was trying to explain the Tank and be friends to Tank, and I knew he was fighting scared the whole fight. Frank Martin was fighting scared. He wasn't comfortable at all. So I knew Tank was gonna get him up out there. Who you got, T.O. or Shakur? I got Shakur winning. I got Shakur beating T.O. I got Shakur all day, baby. And see, that's why we talking about this, situation with Shakur Stevenson and O'Shaka Foster. See, I think Shakur, and this is my opinion, just hear me out. I think Shakur, like the crowd of dudes he can beat up on. Like, I think Shakur can beat up on Keyshawn Davis. I think he can beat up on Richardson Hitchens, or he could have good sparring with them guys. But I think O'Shaka Foster was whooping his ass. I think O'Shaka Foster was whooping his ass, and he coming across like O'Shaka Foster just a hater and all this. I don't think that. I don't see O'Shaka Foster as no hater. When he speak, his character ain't no type of dude that come across like O'Shaka just a hater. I think O'Shaka was in the gym really beating up on Keyshawn Davis' head. I mean, not Keyshawn Davis, but Shakur Stevenson head. I really believe it. From the way he was telling the story, ain't no man gonna lie like that. He ain't gonna lie. And y'all looking at it like I said in my video on my short. Oh, he got 3 losses. Ain't no way he can. Okay, Tevin Farmer had way more losses than that. He became a champion. You know what I'm saying? Beat some opponents. You know, I ain't gonna say Tevin Farmer beat big names, but Tevin Farmer became a champion. When he got focused on the sport of boxing, I think that's where O'Shaquie Foster got his losses from, because he wasn't focused on the sport of boxing. You feel me? But, you know, everybody got a right to their own opinion, you know. They like Escalades. Everybody got one except me. They like Escalades. Everybody got one except me, you heard me? That'll be a good fight to see, though. Because Shock is another fighter that switched stances. You know, O'Shaquie Foster, he switched stances. He go from orthodox to southpaw. I think he was whooping on Shakur ass. I'm just going to be upfront with you. I told y'all that in my show. I think Shock was whooping on Shakur ass, and he don't want no parts of Shock. Take it how you feel. You understand me? That's what the comment section for. We don't block nobody. We don't get mad and block you off our channel, nothing like that. Hold on, Easy gotta go outside for something, you understand me? But I bet anybody $100 Teofimo lose. In a minute. All right.